How did Ford produce millions of the same mechanical components around the world to such an exacting standard that you could grab the same part from any one of dozens of assembly plants and have them match to within 2/millionths of an inch? That is what Henry Ford had to do in order to ensure the quality of Model A production in a time before computers and laser scanners. This exacting standard gave Ford a level of confidence that they referred to as the security of accuracy. To achieve this level of precision, Ford turned to the foremost expert in the field, Carl Johansson. Born in Sweden in 1864, he worked to create a series of standardized metal measuring blocks that could be used to certify dimensions. During the early part of the 20th century, the production industry around the world was eager to find a solution for incorrect measurements. Johansson's early work in the field was among some of the best, and his blocks started to be used by both private and government industry. His work to create comparative blocks between metric and English lengths helped propel him into the recognized leader of measurement. Johansson moved to New York City in 1919 and started producing his blocks for North and South American markets. However, by 1923, his company was on the verge of bankruptcy. Ford was well aware of Johansson's reputation and was eager to assist. Ford purchased the company and brought Johansson on to continue running his old company. Production of the blocks remained in Poughkeepsie, New York, but in 1925, Johansson set up shop in the newly built Ford Engineering Building in Dearborn. Under Ford's roof, the rough steel blocks were produced at the Rouge and then went through their final finishing in the Engineering Building. So precise was the production of the blocks that a special air conditioning system was designed for the department that kept the space at a consistent 68 degrees Fahrenheit. The machining and polishing of these gauges was so absolute that blocks placed next to each other would form a sort of vacuum between the two surfaces, causing them to stick together like magic. Henry Ford gifted the first set of Johansson blocks that were manufactured by Ford to his friend, Thomas Edison. Ford was especially happy to have the best examples of comparative blocks between metric and English measurements, as it helped ensure quality control of the foreign-produced Fordson tractors, as well as non-US produced Ford vehicles. Ford's worldwide production was so massive that the utmost discipline had to be adhered to when it came to the proper measurement of parts. The exacting standards of the Joe blocks, as they were nicknamed, made the interchangeability of parts that much more certain. A foreman on the transmission assembly line in Dearborn used the same gauge block as the boss in Japan, and both were within 2/millionths of an inch of each other. A feat that is incredible to believe possible in 1920s and 1930s industry. The blocks produced by Ford were used not only in their production lines, but were also marketed and sold to other entities as another part of Ford's byproduct sales. Plenty of these blocks survive today and are sought after by both machinists for their continued practical uses, as well as memorabilia collectors who just want them to put on a shelf. Johansson stayed with Ford Motor Company until 1936, when he retired and returned to Europe. The pinnacle of Joe block production came during World War II, as civilian companies switched to wartime production and were being held to a higher standard set by the War Department. Johansson died in 1943 at the age of 79, but his legacy has lived on as the final word in exact measurement. As always, thanks for watching.